Unending violence amid one of the world's worst humanitarian crises. Could a transitional council bring stability to Haiti? Hello, I'm Arnold Naidu, and this is The Heat. It's been 1 month since Haiti's Prime Minister Ariel Henry offered to resign from his post once a transitional council is installed. This after gangs across Port-au-Prince attacked several government buildings in late February, driving more than 53,000 people to leave as violence continues to rock the nation's capital. Political leaders now look to form a transitional council to spearhead a new government and strengthen national security. What are the challenges that lie ahead? And can Haitians recover from years of political instability? To discuss this and more, let's bring in our guests. Joining us from Port-au-Prince, Etienne Cole-Paluck is the editor-in-chief of Haiti Magazine and Haiti Weekly. In Vancouver, Jemima Pierre is a professor of Social Justice Institute at the University of British Columbia. From New York, we're joined by Kim Ives. He's an editor with Haiti Liberté, and Roromme Chantal is a professor of political science at Moncton University and a former UN official in Haiti. Welcome to all of you. Roromme, let me start with you. For weeks now we've been covering the story. We've been hearing of armed groups, gangs, taking over in the Haitian capital, Port-au-Prince. There's been a high level of violence. Then there was that meeting of the regional group in CARICOM. And they have come up now with what they say is a solution, a way ahead politically for Haiti. And that is a transitional council, which will consist of 9 councillors. They've not been sworn in yet. They're not installed. But what can you tell us about this council? I mean, what will they do? How will they work? And is it something you think that would work?
First of all, I would like to be very positive, but I'm not at all. I'm skeptical that this council can bring solutions to the problems that Haiti is actually facing. One reason is that, like you just said, it's gonna be 9 members having to, make decision for Haiti, and among them, you have people who've been against each other, and part of the members of this council are representatives of the criminals who have led the situation that we have in Haiti. So the question is, how can these people responsible for the situation in Haiti can be bringing the solution that the Haitian people have been waiting for? I don't think this will work. So the council has to name first of all, a president, and there's, fighting currently because each one of them would like to be that president, and after that, they need to find agreement on a prime minister. After that, a government, and all that has to be done. That's why it would have been wiser for the Haitians to be allowed to pick among civil society leaders in Haiti, people beyond any reproach who have not been part of the criminals, that those people, instead of, the same leaders who are responsible for this situation in Haiti, I believe would be in a better position to do all this. So I'm hoping I will be wrong and that the council can bring some solutions, but I doubt.
Etienne, you are in Port-au-Prince right now, and many Haitians disapprove of this transitional council. They feel that it is a body that is being imposed on them from the outside by foreigners like CARICOM, that group, the Caribbean group of ministers, like the United States. And for this group to function, it would also require the consent of the outgoing authorities in Haiti as well. I mean, what have you heard? How are people responding to this transitional council?
It's hard to say right now, because in Port-au-Prince here, the people mostly stay in their homes. But I would think, and what I see in the medias and what I see the people when I go out do my work as a journalist, is that people are waiting for something to happen, and they're so desperate that they'll take anything that is offered to them. So the hopes is that this will bring a bit of calm in the streets. Will that happen? And nobody knows. Will that make the armed groups more violent or not? That's the big question. But for now, for sure, the government that is in power right now, that hasn't left power, is kind of staying in power a bit longer, as everybody was expecting, and we're all wondering, is it for the better good of the country, or is it for the personal better good? That's the big question right now.
Right.
When we're going to see something happen, at least it's something that it's a plan, and before Ariel Henry was so there was so much disapproval for his governance, that this was kind of a burden that got lifted out. Now we'll see if the solution proposed is really helping the people on the ground, or is it going to complicate stuff? Like Roromme said, there's big questions about the numbers on around the table, but also on the other side, we rarely have seen all those different political parties at the same table and agreeing to that, and to have a functioning committee. That's at least something, but we really don't know.
Right.
Is it going to work or not? It's really something new, and we've never seen that before.
Jemima, if we look at the situation over the past few months in Haiti, 53,000 people have fled the capital, Port-au-Prince. 1,500 were killed and 17,000 have been left homeless. Now, these armed groups that we talk about, they want to be part of the political process. In fact, they've formed themselves into a type of coalition, and that coalition is known as Living Together. I mean, what do you make of these latest efforts to restore some kind of stability to the country and sort of map the way ahead politically?
Well, as you know, my response to that is one that has to take into account the role of the so-called international community, and that's US, France, and Canada, for always intervening and being the cause of the problem that we are in right now. So we have to remember 20 years ago that US, France, and Canada initiated a coup d'etat that removed the Haiti's elected president and sent him to Africa. So as far as I'm concerned, Haiti's effectively under occupation. It's been under the occupation of the core group, which still runs Haiti, which is the same group that helped install a president against the people's wishes in 2010, that put in this right-wing PHTK government, of which Henry is a member. It's the same core group that installed Ariel Henry against the wishes of the people, against any institutional, against the Haitian Constitution. And so even this transitional council is the brainchild of the US, because it is the US that is running the CARICOM show in the Caribbean. If you remember, the last time we talked, when the CARICOM groups were meeting, it was the US, France, Canada, Brazil, and Mexico, and CARICOM that met separately first before they brought in the Haitian, the so-called Haitian leaders that they handpicked to be part of this meeting. And these Haitian people had to agree first to a foreign invasion, military invasion, in order to be part of the conversation. And so part of this is we have to understand then who's going to trust a group that is chosen by the same people who are occupying Haiti, which is US, France, and Canada, a solution that they're putting together, that they're determining the terms of that solution. So we also have to think about what it means to have US, France, and Canada dictate the terms of whatever transition is happening in Haiti. And until we don't get rid of US, France, and Canada in its consistent and persistent and meddling in Haiti, we can't move forward. And even if this transitional council gets full going, it's still going to have legitimacy problems because of the way it's been installed. And people are saying this is a CARICOM solution. It is not. CARICOM is following the orders of the US, and we have to be clear about that. And so I think, the armed groups are important to deal. I think we need to deal with that. We need to deal with that situation. underground. We need to bring people together, but we can't have the same political elites, the same international groups. Remember, the international community is bigger than US, France, and Canada. There's a whole region of people who are willing to help out, but they're being left out of the conversation. And so until we take all of this into account, we can't really come up with a solution for what's going on in Haiti just yet.
Kim, civil structures have broken down in Haiti. These armed groups, gangs, have taken over. In fact, the United Nations says that armed groups control up to 80% of the capital, Port-au-Prince. Now we look at this announcement of a transitional council. You know, as Jemima pointed out, there is a question of legitimacy. There are Haitians who feel that this is being imposed on them. But could it be a viable alternative, possibly a transitional, well, it's called itself transitional, but a stopgap measure right now, and then, you know, the people choose their own leaders?
No, it's stillborn from the start, as Jemima said. And I think, as Roromme was saying, you know, this council is completely dysfunctional. It can't work. It's got polar opposites in it. And it was interesting to me that just the other day there was a Council on for Foreign Relations meeting, CFR, the sort of high council of U.S. diplomacy and the empire. And at it was a woman called Monique Kleska, who is a leading light of the Montana group, which is, I could say, at the head almost of this transitional presidential council. And she was calling out Brian Nichols, the Assistant Secretary of State for Western Hemisphere Affairs, essentially saying, this is not a Haitian-led solution. This is, you know, going to you. In fact, this same council had to submit their plans to CARICOM for approval. I mean, come on. So the student is giving the teacher their paper to say, what grade did I get? No, it's not going to work. And as for the quote-unquote gangs, which we call armed groups, armed neighborhood committees, Mao Zedong said political power comes from the barrel of a gun. And that's, in essence, what we see. We see two groups in Haiti. We see the U.S. core group, imperialists, whatever we want to call them, and their solution is come in with Kenyans or the 82nd Airborne, and they're going to put things the way they were, the status quo. And on the other hand, you have the Haitian people who have their armed groups, which, with all their warts and deficiencies, nonetheless represent, I can say, what the Haitian people have in mind. They're deciding, they're not being governed by any outside force. So I think this is the conflict we see between the U.S., French, Canadian combine and the Haitian people.
Roromme, there's also a huge amount of arms that have got into Haiti. Haiti is not a country that manufactures arms or ammunition or anything like that, but most of those arms have flown from the United States into Haiti. This is an assessment of the situation by Jean-Eddy Saint-Paul of the Haitian Studies Institute at City University of New York. This is what he had to say about arms in the country. Let's listen.
Haiti is a country that doesn't manufacture guns, and the guns and ammunition that have been used in our hands, controlled by those gangsters, we have automatic rifle coming straight from the belly of the United States of America. And you have not only the Biden administration, when Donald John Trump was president, any president who they didn't do nothing to stop the flow of illegal guns in Haiti. So what is happening in Haiti is happening because of the complicity and the involvement of the United States of America.
Canada and France are also involved in this, Roromme. The UN says there are 500,000 illegal arms in the country. Now, there are some members of the United States Congress who are trying to put an end to this. Well, 3 members, to be specific. They're calling on the U.S. government to take measures to stop the flow of weapons to Haiti. I mean, is that going to work? Is that going to happen?
No, it's not going to work. It's not going to happen for the simple reason that the U.S. wants that. the international powers, they want that to happen. It is not something they ignore. It is not something they don't know. It is not something they use in order for them to control Haiti. Because whenever the people that they put in power in Haiti, who in general are not popular, Michel Martelly, Jovenel Moïse, but they still stand by those people. And it is those people, the same people, Michel Martelly, Jovenel Moïse, to be honest, they were not the first to use gangsters to rule Haiti, but in some sense, it was official when they were in power, and they've been encouraged by members of the international community to arm their partisans. So whenever the population want to oust them, they can prevent them from doing that. So they know that they would do nothing. The UN adopted a resolution calling on those countries to do something. You've heard nothing. And now, on top of that, what they've done, Guy Philippe, who was jailed in the United States, has been freed and sent back to Haiti. What you're hearing is that a former U.S. ambassador in Haiti, Pamela White, is asking the U.S. to cooperate, to work with Guy Philippe that can deal with the problem. What all that signals is that the provisional council that we've been talking about, it is something they doing, acting as if they want to bring some solution to Haiti, but in fact they don't want. Maybe they're waiting for the council to fail, so the gangsters, gang members can seize power in Haiti and start ruling Haiti. Even if they're gonna say no, we don't support them, but maybe they're gonna support the gangs. That's their true plan.
Etienne, what is daily life like in a place like Port-au-Prince? I mean, with so many guns that are available right now. In fact, Al Jazeera, the television network, reported that in Haiti, the UN found more than 2,500 people were kidnapped in 2023 alone. More than 4,700 homicides were reported, and there was a 119% increase over the previous year. And they blame a lot of that on corruption in the country. In fact, Transparency International's corruption index ranks Haiti 172 out of 180 countries. So what is life like on the streets?
Well, the streets are mostly empty of any policemen, except from the big institutions of the country, or the police stations themselves that are still open. 2 of them are still open in Port-au-Prince. Apart from that, in the streets, there's no authorities at all. The merchants who were used to sell downtown, that is now controlled, most of it by armed groups, have been coming uptown a bit to sell from there on the streets, because not a lot of people go down there now, and it's hard to sell, and the streets are empty. We call them VAR in the downtown area. It's a no man's land in some sort, the whole downtown. That's the situation in Port-au-Prince. There's some free neighborhoods still that they have some economy. They have some of the markets open. It's about maybe a third of the city, but all the schools are closed. Most of the main hospitals have been forced to close in the last few weeks. There's no offices open. Everybody is inside their home most of the day and waiting to see what's going to happen the next day, and hoping that the next day they're going to be able to go out a bit. And every morning we try to listen to the radio and see where there was shooting during the night, or which neighborhood is okay to go into. It's kind of a war situation kind of in Port-au-Prince right now.
Jemima, can these armed groups, or gangs as they are called by some, be brought into the political process? You know, as I mentioned earlier, they've formed themselves into some kind of loose coalition called Living Together. But can they be brought into the process and be part of some kind of political solution which would result in a representative government?
Before I answer that, I also want to quickly say, we're talking about Port-au-Prince for the most part. I want to make this clear because I think people want to push for armed intervention because the media presents Haiti as this whole country is up in flames and there's a civil war. Keep in mind that there's still flights out of northern Haiti. People are flying in and out. There are helicopters flying all over. And so let's talk about the fact that a lot of this is in Port-au-Prince, and Haiti is a country of 12 million people, okay? And also think about the scale of violence in comparison. So for example, Ecuador had 8,000 murders, homicides yet last year. Ecuador only has 18 million people. So there's that. So I do want to talk about this because I think the solution needs to include people. And when we talk about armed groups versus the political elite, we leave out the rest of the community. There are civil society people, there are community groups, there are neighborhood groups that have come together and created communities for themselves to figure out how to protect their neighborhoods and so on and so forth. The news media is so fascinated with the particular members of these armed groups, as opposed to thinking about, well, what other solutions could there be? Is there a way that the U.S., France, and Canada could step back? In fact, you have, the incoming president, Zamora Castro, of CELAC, the Central American nations, saying that, we need to have a conversation with all these groups. I think what needs to happen is we need to actually go to these neighborhoods, talk to these neighborhoods, and the young kids, except for, the leaders that have the names, the young kids who have been given these, $1,000 arms, that are brought into the country, paid for by the elite, because it is the political elite that pays for a lot of these. They own the ports. So we have to also deal with, how do we deal with those gangsters, the political elite, the Haitian oligarch, that are also part of this problem. And so I think there has to be a conversation with a lot of people. But right now, everyone's focusing on two groups, right? The so-called international community, picking its own Haitian political elite, and then these armed groups. And I think we need to have a broader conversation. We also need to really ask the U.S. to step back and let Haiti be. And so that's the only way I can answer that, because I think the situation in Haiti is difficult. And I think, I've had family that have to leave parts of Port-au-Prince, but I also think we need to also think about how the U.S. media is presenting this as making a case for armed intervention. And I want to push back against that. And I want to say that the solution is among the people in the neighborhoods, and those are the people we need to talk to.
Kim, do you see a situation where there could be a broader conversation in the current environment in Haiti? And also, do you see a scenario where the United States, Canada, and France would step back?
No, I think we're seeing an epic clash of class interests in Haiti. I think there are really two camps, if I could put it. You have, on the one hand, the US, France, Canada, on the one side, with the political class and oligarchy that they've been working with for years. In fact, the oligarchy that Jemima was just referring to even has a seat on this council in the form of the private sector. You have, all the rest are political formations, and then you have the private sector has their own grouping on it. And then on the other side, you really have Jimmy Cherizier at the head of this Vivre Ensemble, Living Together group, along with Guy Philippe. Now, those two are different forces. Jimmy Cherizier more or less represents those urban armed groups, speaks for them or is the voice of them, even though he's fought with many of them for the past 4 years. And on the other hand, you have Guy Philippe, just returned after he made a plea deal to money laundering in the U.S., which he denies he ever did. He came back, but they're both articulating essentially a message of sovereignty and nationalism. And so I don't think the U.S., France, and Canada can possibly digest, can possibly accept the message coming from Guy Philippe and Jimmy Cherizier. So to me, this is the epic battle that we're going to see in the coming days between what I would call the imperialist camp, organized by the US, France, and Canada, versus what I would call the Haitian people, which at this point, and that may change in the years and months ahead, is being articulated by Cherizier and Guy Philippe.
Roromme, we're also seeing an increase in deportations of migrants and asylum seekers back to Haiti from neighboring countries, particularly from the United States. The United Nations says 13,000 migrants were forcibly sent back to Haiti in March alone. The Dominican Republic, which is the island neighbor, deported more than 250,000 Haitians in 2023. And the United States has said that it doesn't plan on extending a program which existed here where Haitians could stay. It's a temporary program, the Temporary Protection Status Program. Those three congresspeople that I mentioned earlier, they also addressed this, and they want that program to be extended. There's also talk of using Guantanamo as some kind of solution. What is the situation in your view?
Before I say anything about that question, I would like to add, as far as Guy Philippe is concerned, and Jimmy Cherizier were talking about, trying to talk as if they are nationalist Haitians and talking against international powers. That is not true. Haitians know all too well that Guy Philippe has been used to against Jean-Bertrand Aristide when the oligarchs in Haiti didn't want Aristide to be in power, when the international community didn't want Aristide, and they used Guy Philippe against Aristide. And for me, it's not a plea deal that brought back Guy Philippe to Haiti. The U.S. freed Guy Philippe, sent him back to Haiti, and now, even if he's talking against the U.S., that's not true. He will probably be used by the U.S. when the Provisional Council would fail. I hope I will be wrong again, but I wanted to say that. And the question you just asked about U.S. sending Haitians back to Haiti, that is, the way they treat Haiti. They've treated Haiti, and they acting as if they didn't create the chaos that we have in Haiti. And they are acting in a way that is not respecting international humanitarian law, because when you take into account what is happening in Haiti, countries like the US, Dominican Republic, Canada, of course, the same way for Ukraine, for other countries, white countries,
right,
they should do that for Haiti, because the people are in need and they are facing a situation that they've not created themselves, but that the international powers, Canada, the US, France, and the international organization like the UN have created. And I will say that last point. When Jimmy Cherizier put together 9 gangs in Port-au-Prince, it was an American leading the UN, Hélène Miguel-Alim, who went to the UN and say nice words about this initiative. So they use those gangs. The gangs are members of that international community.
Right. Well, I'm afraid I'm going to have to leave it there. We've run out of time. Thank you to all of you for being with us. That is it for this edition of The Heat. I'm Anand Naidu in Washington, D.C.